Dear students, in this subject ground improvement techniques, we have covered 4 units. In the first unit, we have discussed about the various dewatering techniques like well point systems. And in well point system, we have 2-3 types like a single stage well point system, multi-stage well point system, and apart from this well point system, you have vacuum dewatering system and electro-osmotic dewatering method. So these methods can be used according to the soil types and depending upon the permeability nature of the soil. Now then in the second unit, we have covered compaction of cohesionless and cohesive soils. Here in this unit, we have briefly discussed various methods of compaction like vibration, vibroflotation, heavy tamping, blasting techniques, and in general we have dealt various methods of vibration at surface and at depth, and also by applying impact at surface and as well as at depth. Now in the same unit, in addition to the above techniques, we have also discussed briefly about preloading techniques, prefabricated vertical drains, the benefits of using preloading with the PVDs, etc. These methods are useful to accelerate the consolidation process, and these things are being covered in detail in the second unit. Here in third unit, we have discussed topics like stone column construction, the design procedures, and how to do design problems with the help of stone columns, etc. These things we have covered in third unit in the first part. And the second part of third unit tells about earth reinforcement, soil nailing techniques, and geosynthetics. If you take geosynthetics, this material is a boon to civil engineering construction, I can say, because it has wide applications, especially in the case of pavement construction as well as in the case of construction of embankments or foundation placements and so on. In Unit 4, various soil stabilization techniques are covered, right from mechanical stabilization, chemical stabilization, electrokinetic stabilization, and also we have touched upon few methods of stabilization of expansive soils like pre-wetting method and so on. So as of now, we have covered the entire 4 units in the ground improvement techniques, and the leftover topic is Unit 5, which is grouting methods. So here we are going to discuss elaborately about the various types of grouts, the aspects of grouting, the types of grout injection methods, monitoring methods, etc. So we are going to see these topics one by one. So the term grouting. What do you mean by grouting? The simple definition is, it is a process by which a slurry-like material is injected under pressure into the subsoil. So the purpose is in order to fill the large voids, cracks and fractures which is seen below the rocks or large voids below the soil. So you are going to seal these voids. So for that purpose you are using grouting. The main aim is to produce a strong, dense and hard material so that this kind of grouting will help in improving the basic properties of soft ground. So if you look upon the applications, this is mainly used for sealing the pockets of unstable soil. And the second application is, this is used to form grout curtains. Curtains means making wall with the use of the grout material. So this forms an impermeable wall in order to cut off the seepage or groundwater movement, etc. And sometimes this grouting process is also employed to fix the tendons. So tendons are used in pre-stressed concrete structures. So in the case of pre-stressed post-tension concrete, in order to fix the tendons, the grouting is widely used. So basically there are various types of grouts. The grouting materials are, you can use cement. This is the primary material normally employed in all types of grouting techniques. We can also mix cement and sand. Clay cement mixture can also be used or selected as a grouting material. Certain industries produces slags, so these are considered as a waste material nowadays, and the reuse of these materials also a research importance, where many people are using these slags for their for further use. So slag can be mixed with the cement, and slag cement grouts can be used as a grouting material. And the next material is some resin type gypsum cement mixture can be used, or pure clays can also be sometimes employed as a grouting material. And we also have other materials like asphalt, pulverized fuel ash, and low viscous chemicals. If we look upon the basic categories of grouting, there are 4 categories of grouting. One is intrusion grouting, second one is compaction grouting, third one is permeation grouting, and fourth one is jet grouting. We will see these grouting methods one by one. So in the case of intrusion grouting, the intrusion grouting is also known as penetration grouting. So here the joints and fractures are filled by injecting the grout material, and this kind of technique is employed for foundations of water retaining structures. So the main material used as grout here is the cement, and here the permeation grouting, here the grout material forms as a thin layer below the subsurface, and wherever possible it move towards and make this area to be hard, soil to be hard. Second method is compaction grouting. So this compaction method, the other name is displacement grouting. So here also a thin grout is injected under very high pressure, so to form series of intrusions. So this is effective for loose cohesionless soils. Loose cohesion soils in the sense the cohesionless soils have large voids, so the voids will be filled by this kind of application of grout, which is called as compaction grouting. So third one is permeation grouting. Here a thin grout is injected into the soil such that it permeates into the voids, and before doing any excavation or tunneling operations, in order to pack or seal the voids to enhance the stability of the soil mass, this permeation grouting is employed. So this permeation grouting is usually carried out with the help of cement grouts, and at some situations chemical grouts are also selected. The last method is jet grouting. Jet, the word itself says that a special pipe with a jetting arrangement is used. So this jet will inject the grout under very high pressure, and it forms a column-like material, a hard material surrounding the grout pipe. So in this way the total region is made as a stabilized soil. So these are the 4 grouting technology: intrusion grouting, compaction grouting, permeation grouting, and jet grouting. Pictures are also shown here. Next one is grouting material. So once again I am recollecting the definition of grout or grouting material. So grout can be defined as a solution, an emulsion or suspension in water which is injected under pressure, and at a certain time interval this will make the soil mass as a hardened one. So it can be basically divided into 2 types. One is the suspension grout and the second one is the solution grout. What is suspension grout? It is a mixture of one or several inert materials like cement, clays, which is suspended in a fluid-like material. The usual material of fluid selected is water, and they are also called as particulate grouts. And the second main group of grouting material is a solution grout. This consists of chemical products in a solution or an emulsion form and their reagents. The most frequently used products are sodium silicate and certain resins. We'll see these two types of grout materials in detail. So the first one is suspension grout. Here, as a subdivision, here we are going to see grouting with soil. So when we talk about grouting with the soil, the clay is the material which comes in our mind. So clay, it is a complex compound and they can be used as a grout material. If you see clays, particularly the material bentonite. Bentonite is a commercially available material which has promising characteristics like it is highly impermeable in nature and it has high specific surface and very high cation exchange capacity. That is why these bentonite clays are widely used for stabilizing boreholes and it has wide applications in the area of waste containment systems where the bentonite clays are used as a liner material. So perhaps this bentonite clay has been widely used in the grouting area also. So these clays will pass on to the voids of the soil mass and seal the voids of coarse grained soils. The second type of suspension grout is grouting with the cement. So here OPC, that is ordinary Portland cement, is used. So similar to concrete, where the voids of coarse aggregate gets filled up by the fine aggregate, which in turn is filled up by the cement. So this OPC material is widely used in the grouting processes. Whenever we are using cement for any construction purpose, we have to be very careful with the water cement ratio. So here the water cement ratio is selected based on the types of soil and normally it ranges between 0.5:1 to 5:1. So as cement is costly, we can also use lime as an alternate material which is cheaper than cement grouting. So that we call it as lime grouting. And certain admixtures, additives can be used. So in order to enhance the properties and to accelerate the physico-chemical reactions, certain types of admixtures and additives are added to the OPC whenever we are preparing these kind of cement grouting materials. See, the admixtures include clays, fine sand, fly ash, fluidizers, accelerators and retarders. So this table gives a list of admixtures like accelerators, retarders, fluidizers, air entrainers, expanders and anti-bleeding agents. So the chemical which is present in accelerator is calcium chloride, sodium silicate, sodium aluminate. So in the case of retarders, we have calcium lignosulfonate, tartaric acid, and fluidizers. In fluidizers we have calcium lignosulfonate, and in expanders we can use aluminum powder, saturated brine solution, and as anti-bleeding agent you can use cellulose ether and aluminum sulfate. So these accelerators in one or the other way helps in the enhancing the properties of cement when used as a grouting material. Only thing is we have to be very careful with the dosage selection. So the optimum dosage is very much less, that is in the range of 0.1 to 0.5. Mostly retarders ranges in the range of 0.1 to 0.5 and accelerators from 0.5 to 3%. So maximum of 3% by weight of cement alone, you have to add these kind of admixtures. So the applications of suspension grouts are, so these can be used to fill up the fractures and fissures of rocks, and they are widely used to control and cut off seepage, particularly beneath the dam, and it is also used to control the groundwater movement. Coming to the second main group of grouting material, that is the solution grout. We have four major types under the solution grouts. One is silicate derivatives, second one is lignosulfide derivatives, third one acrylamides, and fourth one phenoflast. So in all these types, we have different brands of solution grouts. They are commonly available in the market. When we select such a type of solution grouts, the properties like corrosivity or toxicity nature, the viscosity and strength attainment, everything we have to take it into account while using these chemicals, because some of these chemicals may give only low strength and some leads to high strength. So depending upon the nature of the soil, the availability of equipment and so on, so you have to choose accordingly the different kinds of solution grouts. And people are commonly using these kinds of materials like sodium silicate, aluminum sulfate, calcium chloride, sodium aluminate, phenol, resorcinol formaldehyde, ethyl acetate, and these are the commonly used chemicals in the case of solution grouts, which we broadly call it as chemical grouting. So we have briefly discussed about what is grouting, the different types of grout materials, the basic aspects of grouting. And now let us move on to the grout injection methods. There are four main injection methods which are employed to inject grout into the ground. The first method is drill hole method. Here in this method, drill rods are used by means of some drilling equipment, and here the grout material is pumped through the hole into the soil. So after filling the borehole, the grout slowly penetrate into the interconnected voids of the soil mass and it forms a dense matrix. So here what we are doing is similar to the boring operation, and all we are making hole and we are filling the hole with the grout. So slowly it gets penetrated into the soil. The second method is a drill tool methods. Here drill rods are used by means of rotary drilling technique. So after the required depth is reached, the drill rod is withdrawn and the grout material is injected into it. So there in the first method, without a drill rod we are using. Here through the drill rod we are allowing the grout material to pass through, and slowly we are withdrawing the drill rod. In the third method is called as grout pipe method. So similar to first method, here also you have to drill a hole first, and then grout pipes are installed into the holes. So you have a borehole and inside that you have drill rods. Now the gap between the grout pipe and the drilled hole are called as annular space. So this space has to be properly sealed. And now through the grout pipe, the grouting material is injected. So at times, successive grout injection in the same zone can also be done by using a special type injection method called tube-manchet method. We call this as multiple stage grouting. So this is very special method compared to the other three types of method. The last one is jetting method. So in this method, a drill pipe is lowered first. And if you look upon this drill pipe, it has two nozzles. See, the upper nozzle will deliver water under pressure, and through the lower nozzle, the grout fluid will be delivered into the soil, which again under pressure. So similar to conventional jetting operation, the drill pipe can be raised by rotation and injection of grout can be done simultaneously. So simultaneous rotation and injection is done usually in the case of jetting methods. By this technique, a column of replaced earth is finally formed. This is a picture which gives a complete layout of a grouting plant. When we look upon the grouting plant, we have three major units called as grout mixture, the agitator and the grout pump. Here in the grout mixture, the grout materials and the required amount of water gets mixed up. So a thorough mixing is done in the first unit called as grout mixture. It is followed by the second unit called as agitator. Here agitator has the provision like paddles. So the lumps of materials gets broken up by the rotation of the paddles so that a uniform slurry is obtained. You can adjust the rotation of the paddle. As the water and the grout material is agitated properly, you will get a uniform slurry. So this agitator is useful to keep the particles in suspension. After thorough mixing, you can allow the paddle to rotate at a slow manner so that the contents will not get to settle down and it will be kept in a suspension form. Now this slurry is taken into the grout pump, which is the third unit in the layout of grouting plant. Here you have many valves like valves to adjust the pressure. You can control the volume of the grout material. These valve arrangements are very much required so that we can ensure the required amount of grout is taken to the field. So the pump is also provided with a bypass hose so that any excess amount of grout material that is obtained in the grout pump can be taken back to the agitator. So it will be stored there and can be used further. So from the grout pipe, grout material is taken to the already prepared borehole. So whenever a borehole is prepared for the grouting processes, you have a borehole fixed with the grout pipe. Through the grout pipe only, it will be sending the grouting material into the subsoil. So in this manner, right from mixing process, agitation process, and the whole thing taken to the grout pump, and from the grout pump to the grouting area, this gives a complete layout of grouting plant. The description is given here about the grouting plant equipment. And the last topic is grout monitoring. So monitoring of grouting operation is very important, and we have to carry this monitoring process in a sequence. First one is prior to grouting. So before doing the grouting process, what are all the things we have to do? And during the grouting operation and after grouting operation. So these are the three main areas where we have to do the monitoring processes. First one is prior to grouting. So before starting up the grouting process, we have to inspect the equipment whether it is in good condition. So the survey points are to be done. You have to locate the grouting points carefully. You have to do the monitoring plan and procedures clearly, and then only you have to start doing the operation. Second step is during drilling operation. So during drilling operation, we have to conduct some pre-grout radar techniques, or we also have cross-hole acoustic surveys so that the drill holes are done properly. The grout material will not go as a waste, so it has to serve for the intended purpose. So some kind of experimentation should be done or monitoring should be done during the drilling operation. And the main important thing is the selection of grout material. Directly we cannot send the grout material. So before adapting this in the field, we have to do many trial grout mixtures. Only thing, the proportion of admixtures or the proportion of water we are adding to the cement or lime. So after conducting many trial mixes, we can arrive at the correct proportion or optimum dosage, whatever it may be. So a certificate of compliance should be obtained before fixing the final grout material having the proper composition. So next monitoring work is carried out during grouting operation. So you have to be very careful and you have to monitor the injection pressure and the flow rate, which is very important, because too much of pressure may cause some heaving above the ground. So excess quantity, it may also lead to unexpected cracks below the soil. So you have to carefully observe the pressure with the help of pressure gauge available in the grout pump, and the flow rate, the quantity. You have to control the quantity of grout material entering into the borehole. Similar to bore log preparation, one can take the grout log. So these things can be plotted so that we can see that we are going in a right direction. There are possibilities of heave measurements above the soil. One important monitoring operation that is carried out during grout is where there is any heave that has taken place near to the grouting point that can be measured. So the last operation is after grouting, have to do final heave surveys and final reviews should be done so that everything has gone well. So that gives an overall idea about the successfulness of the grouting operation. In this unit grouting, we have covered 4 major things. One is in detail about the various grouting materials, the suspension grouting, the solution grouting, and the second one is the basic aspects of grouting, or we can say the basic categories of grouting: intrusion, permeation, compaction, and jet grouting. And the third topic we have covered is the various grout injection methods like drill hole method, drill tool method, grout pipe method, and jetting method. In detail, we have seen about the layout of grouting plant, followed by the monitoring operations or processes to be carried out during the grouting activity. To sum up, we have seen many methods to improve the grout. Methods like vibro compaction is suitable for gravel, sand, and you can also use it to some extent to silty soil also. Similar to vibro compaction, the vibro displacement compaction can also be used for these 3 types of soils. Next one is particulate grout. So the particulate grout is very much useful for soil with large voids, so particularly in the case of gravel. And the next type of improvement method is chemical grout, which can be used for gravel, sand, and silty soils. One more grouting technology called as displacement grout is employed for sand, silt, as well as clay. The important topic that we have covered in second unit is preloading. So this particular preloading PVDs are used in the case of soft ground. Normally soft ground is characterized by low bearing capacity and high settlement. So the problem with the soft ground is the pore water pressure which is present in the water which is present in the voids of the soil mass cannot escape quickly. So it takes much time in the consolidation to complete it. In order to accelerate the consolidation process, we are using these preloading and prefabricated vertical drains in the case of soft ground before actually doing the real construction on such type of soils. This preloading is mainly employed for clays. We have dynamic consolidation, which is nothing but heavy tamping. They are useful in the case of sand, silt, and so on. So electroosmotic consolidation can also be employed in the case of silt and clays. Reinforcement technique is one of the important technique that can be adapted for sand, gravel. It can also be used for silt and clay. Thermal treatment. This thermal treatment means heating the soil, which causes many changes in the soil mass. So this is employed for silt and clay. Certain types of soils may not be suitable for constructional operations. So the only thing is left over is you can remove and replace it with good soil having good properties. And the last method is pre-wetting, which is employed for clays, particularly in the case of expansive soils. So you have to allow water to stand in such soils so that in future it may not show any swelling. So this is a kind of ground improvement technique used in the case of expansive soils. So to sum up, I have given these things. So with this we have covered the complete units. Thank you.